What's going on, everybody? Your main man Zera here, coming to give you guys yet another relatively short video. This one, again, like I said last night, is going to cover my add-ons. Okay, I'm a little kind of distraught. My brother just came over, and he and I had a in-depth discussion about what the future was for both of us in WoW. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to be playing probably much at all. He's been kind of going back and forth between two classes. The one he's played for years, which for those of you who've been following my channel from day one in the stream is a warlock, and he's playing another healing class. That of course he and I have been playing healers for years now, but he doesn't really like the state of PvP, and I can't really disagree with him. I'm not going to really get into the specifics because honestly, people are just going to go to the comment section and just crucify everything I say, because apparently, like, people just like being right and they like proving people wrong, so I'm not even really going to get into that. I just don't like it myself. I mean, I didn't like it in WoD either. Let's just go ahead and say that right now. But, I mean, you take what it is, and I'm sure, Blizzard's got a lot on their mind and a lot of things they're trying to do to really iron out a lot of the details with, what really is wrong with PvP, where the, things are not really set right now in stone. Nothing's really balanced, so to speak. So, I mean, but as far as PvE goes, I love everything. I love my tank. I love the mythics. I love the content. I love getting the gear. I love it. I'm actually starting to get back into that vanilla mindset of whenever I used to do, 3 or 4 raids a week, on top of doing, dungeons over and over and over and over and over, just honing your skills and working with the team and getting the communication factor down and just everything else. I love that about vanilla, and I love that about Legion, because, I mean, granted, mythics are not that impressive. Mythics are really, mythics really feel like they're just modern day. They're what heroics used to be. Now, Mythic Plus is what's going to be awesome. Mythic Plus is when you come in here and you look at, your keystones for the week. This is going to be where you're going to do your 10 different mythic dungeons as challenge modes, and you're going to get keystones and make them even more difficult every week. That's where the real difficulty is going to come from, and hopefully better gear. So, we'll see. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and dive into the subject matter at hand, and that's going to be add-ons. Now, my add-ons is going to be covering everything that I have currently, and I'm also going to mention some other add-ons that I'm probably going to pick up in the very near future, because I just put these in here, and some of them aren't even active. Like Weak Ores isn't active, TSM's not active. I mean, it's on here, it's in the folder. I just have them disabled because I'm not using them right now. But especially since I'm not really going to be PvPing, I could probably just get rid of Weak Ores altogether. But as soon as I'm comfortable with, I get my professions and everything up to where it needs to be, I'll probably activate TSM and get back into, economy building and getting my, gold farming status back going. But right now I'm just so focused on getting the best gear possible and learning all the strat calls and everything for all the dungeons and mythics and raids, so on and so forth. So, battleground targets, this is going to be for your PvP. This shows, friendly enemy unit frames inside of a battleground. This is really great. It's a must-have if you're going to be doing any sort of RBGing. This is an absolute must-have. This is something that's amazing. You can put it anywhere on the screen you want. I generally put it over here, is where I usually put it. And then the next one on my list is hide NPC tracking. Now this just basically, like whenever you go into cat form as a druid, you see all these NPCs, how they're popping up. Well, there's a player. And there's another player, but you see all these NPCs that are popping up too. You know what I'm saying? Like, these NPCs should not be popping up. Like young student, you see what I'm talking about? These shouldn't be popping up. I'm not sure why hide NPCs tracking is not working. I have to troubleshoot it, but that's a must-have for me. Because when I go when I'm going cat form, or I'm on my hunter especially, it's literally the only 2 classes I think you're gonna have issues with this. It's just nice to be able to track humanoids without having to have your entire minimap just completely covered with NPCs. This is really great whenever you're trying to, raid horde cities, or if you're a horde, you're trying to raid alliance cities and you just, humanoids are everywhere, but you want to really keep track of where, you know, enemy players are. This really comes in handy. Mogget speaks for itself, although I may not even need Mogget now because I'm pretty set on the transmog I'm going to have, which after I get done with the video, I'm going to go ahead and apply my transmog, and you guys will see it tomorrow. But, you know, everybody knows what Mogget is. It's really great. Love this. It's really amazing. Even still with the new transmog system that they implemented in-game, Mogget is still really, really awesome to have. You can just go in and just basically just look at everything, you know, item by item, like armor, you know, armor slot by armor slot, and say, hey, this is mix and match, and just start mixing and matching. I really love doing this. As a matter of fact, on the stream, we started doing transmog competitions, and I plan to get back to them. It's just that's something that literally has to be planned months ahead of time because people have to farm their armors, and since raids aren't even, like, certain raids are not even available, so certain transmogs aren't available. I'm not gonna lie, the raid set for the druid is pretty BA. It's pretty badass. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys haven't seen it, be sure to look it up on Wildhead, or even get on here and look in your, you know, look at your adventure guide and look at them. The raid set for the druid looks pretty badass, and so you certainly want to give people enough time to get a hold of those. Sexy map, which is this bad boy up here, it basically allows me to, you know, basically just update the user interface for the the graphic interface for the minimap, which is glorious. I hated the whole circle thing. It was just annoying to me. It was way too basic. I mean, this is basic, you know what I'm saying? But like the circle one was just, I don't know, it just wasn't appealing to me. I like this. It's got a nice wooden frame. You know, the times here, you got the compass north here, you've got tracking here, you got the calendar over here kind of out of the way because I almost never click this, but you got the class order hall report right here. I'm almost always going to be clicking this, and then my QE is going to pop up somewhere right here, you know what I'm saying? So this is just great. And also the note too, if you guys notice, I've got realm time and local time available here. Now this is already there. I mean, it's already going to be, by even default, this is going to show you this. But then if you look at Titan panel, which we'll get to, which is the next one, this is the other add-on I have, which is up here. I don't use this for a lot. I mean, you can literally, I mean, there's a lot of advanced stuff you can do with this. I mean, look at this. You can have, you know, different, all kinds of combat information, interface, professions. You can have a whole bunch of stuff. You know, there's other add-ons that are built into Titan panel, but I literally just use it for performance, location, and Latin long, and then, you know, my repair bill, and then my gold tracking for all my tunes on the server. I love this. To me, this is just amazing. But I also use it to, you know, check server time, because like when I look at this, I'm like, sometimes I forget, oh, this is server time. No, I'm like, oh, this is local time. And I'll look up, I'll see this little S for server, and I'm like, oh crap, no, it's 8:40 server time. Okay, so it kind of gives me a little wherewithal about, you know, what time it actually is on server as opposed to what time it is actually, because I look, I'm like, oh shit, it's like almost 10 o'clock at night, and I'm like, oh, well, it's 8:40, so. But yeah, this is not really anything big. This doesn't really give me any advantage. It's just more a quality of life assurance kind of a thing. I've always loved the idea of having Titan panel. I've had it for years, and I really just can't get away from it. Weak ores again. I'm not a big fan of. I mean, I used to be a huge fan of weak ores, but right now, since I'm not really PvPing all that much, it's just not as appealing. I'm sure I could probably come up with some rare instances where I would prefer weak ores as opposed to DBM, but that's almost going to be, you know, like a 1 in a million chance where I'm going to prefer using weak ores as opposed to, say, DBM, because DBM just takes care of everything by default. World quest list. This was the one that I showed you guys yesterday. If you don't remember, go back and look at yesterday's videos talking about item level 847 in 1 week and just review that. The link is in the description of that video. This is an amazing one. This is probably the best one on my entire list. I mean, I could get rid of everything else on this list, honestly, except for this. I have to have World Quest List because this is just amazing. I love what it does. You know, you open up your actual world map and it shows you a list of all the world quests in the zone you're currently in. If you zoom out to look at the entire Broken Shore, it'll show you the entire drop down of every single world quest in the entire Broken Isles. It's just amazing. And it sorts it by, you know, reward type, whether it's gold, whether it's artifact power, whether it's armor, what the item level of the armor is, whether it's epic or superior, or even if it's just you know, Blood of Sargeras. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff that you can get your hands on, and it's just amazing to sort through. It also shows you like when they end, when their duration is over, to let you kind of prioritize which ones you want to focus on. So I think we should, if you haven't downloaded this, you certainly need to download it. Trade Skill Master, this one kind of speaks for itself. A lot of people are like, just, you know, just go basic with Auctioneer, but I love the amount of, you know, the amount of customization you can have with Trade Skill Master. It makes your life so much easier. You literally just push a button and you can upload like thousands of items in the auction house in the blink of an eye. I mean, it still has to load everything, so it does actually take, you know, I've actually had to sit here for like 15 minutes and let it just upload, you know, tens of thousands of items to the auction house. But it makes your life so much easier. Not to mention emptying your emptying your mailbox like in the blink of an eye. You don't have to push a button. It's just amazing. I love TSM. I think it's one of the best quality of life things you can have. And if you're going to be a true blue like economist in World of Warcraft, you can't do it without TSM. You just can't. So if you don't know about TSM, be sure to look it up on YouTube. There are hundreds of videos covering it, and you know, most of them are older videos, but you can watch them and study them and get a general gist of how it works and what you can expect. That's what I did. I literally sat here for months studying TSM and getting all the strats down for it. And I'm not in any shape, form, fashion a true blue gold farmer. I utilize TSM, and it makes my life so much easier to what little farming I do, that it allows me to be 100 times more successful as if I didn't have it. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, moving on to Deadly Boss Mods. This is my last one. This is a must-have if you're going to be any sort of a PvEer. If you're going to be taken, if you want to be taken seriously as a tank, a healer, or even a high-quality DPS, you have to have this. Almost every guild I know, I haven't actually met a guild in years even that actually does, even just does normal level raid difficulty. I have yet met a raid, or excuse me, a guild that doesn't raid, that does not make this a mandatory must-have in their guild. Like, some guilds won't even invite you in if you don't have DBM installed. Seriously, it's that serious. I mean, it's literally a game changer. And Blizzard has made a tremendous effort into updating their own built-in UIs when it comes to boss mechanics to kind of mirror what DBM's done for years now. So again, this on top of, say, World Quest List are probably just the two add-ons that I literally could not live without. I could live without TSM. I wouldn't want to. I mean, it would really like make me not want to farm, because I mean all the hours I'd end up having to spend having to sort through items and putting custom prices on everything every single time. I'd rather shoot myself in the foot. So literally, TSM is, I'm not exploiting anything. It's just a quality of life thing. It's just, it makes the actual transition of putting things in the auction house, getting stuff out of the mail, and, you know, putting them back in there, lowering their prices because, you know, nobody bought it out in the past week or whatever. That is just a quality of life thing. It just saves time. That's all it is. So anyway, there you go, guys. That's all my add-ons. It's not really a whole lot, honestly, but they really do make a difference. And there actually is other add-ons I used to do, like Mask, would just change like the layouts of your, like would change your buttons, and also Bartender. I actually had old videos up here on YouTube. You can actually go back to my Twitch and look at my highlights from last year. Whenever Swifty and I were rolling together almost all the time, like my UI was just crazy. There was literally no button. You literally, like, you saw like the mounts and the hearthstones over in this corner, but there was nothing else on my screen. Nothing at all. You know what I'm saying? And people are like, what the hell? Like, how do you do anything? Because I had everything memorized. And I could still play like that if I wanted to, but to me, Bartender was just a pain in the butt, because that's what I did. I took Bartender, and then I set my bars up, and then I would just make my bars invisible with Bartender, and I don't know, it was too much of a hassle to do, because Bartender was one of those things literally you'd have to update every patch almost, especially every major patch, and then you'd have to set your bars up again, because knowing, you know, with your luck, you'd end up losing your default setup, or if any new abilities got brought in or some abilities got changed, it was just too much of a hassle. It's too much management, and I just didn't want to deal with it anymore, so I just said to heck with it, and I just went to the standard bar. But if you look I mean, I'm a Guardian Druid. I don't even have anything on my regular bar. You know what I'm saying? Like right here, I have nothing in standard, form. And even in bear form, just the first 4 slots are filled up. So, and all this stuff over here is just professions and, a couple of on-use items and then, mounts. That's it. You know what I'm saying? However, I do run a lot of scripts. Now, scripts are something that a lot of people don't really know how they work. If you go in, I'll go into my macros. This entire, the only thing I have on my general tab is just scripts. I have a script for my battlefield minimap, which is right here. If you want it, here it is. I have it set to the scale 1.465. That's because that's exactly how much it would be. Now I come over and I click on this script, and this is what happens. This is the in-game minimap that you can have just by pressing Shift-M. This pops up, and it usually pops up over in this corner. You can right-click it, and you can unlock it, and you can change its opacity and make it completely invisible, or you can make it completely visible however you want it. And I generally just leave it as is. And I increase its opacity to max. It just helps a lot, especially in situations where you're having to track where your partners are at. It saves you the time of having to open up a mini-map and everything else. And unfortunately, the in-game mini-map doesn't have things like quest or whatnot, and you can't really zoom in. You look at this mini-map, you can zoom in. You can't really do that with this. It doesn't work. So if Blizzard were to upgrade this and make that available, that would just be amazing. I would love that, love that, love that, love that. But as for me, that's one of the scripts I run. I also run a bunch of these scripts. This one, basically, I know this is a lot to look at, but this is here to basically, if I was still running a pet, my pet frame would be moved to a more, pleasing, aesthetically pleasing area instead of where it is, because it makes this area really crowded. So I kind of just slide it further over. That way it makes the raid frames a little easier to find, and I can set my focus up here underneath my actual main bar. My enemy bar gets moved over here, literally side by side my own. So it kind of just cleans up the screen a little bit. And also it does a lot of other things, like, I'll just give you an example. These first 8 are utilized to basically just clean up the screen and also do something very, very neat. I'm sure you guys are going to get a kick out of this. Alright, so you see this druid I have targeted, Zoltik, you know what I'm saying? So Zoltik is just your standard typical color, right? Green health bar, yellow energy, right? Blue for Alliance, be red if it was Horde. Check this out. I'm going to go in here and I'm going to push my first 8 scripts. Now you see what's happening. The Blizzard art bar is gone, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm pushing the rest of these up to number 8. Now I come over here and I select him, and now look what happens. Now it's based on class color. I can click on this Boomkin. Same thing. Class color. All you're going to see are druids, because this is the druid class order hall. But if it was a warrior, it'd be brown, because the warrior class color is brown. If it was a demon hunter, it'd be purple. If it was a warlock, it'd be a darker purple. You know what I'm saying? This is all amazing stuff. And I honestly think that this is going to be one of the best things I can give you guys. This is not just quality of life. This can literally make or break, especially in PvP, this can literally make or break a really crunch time moment. Because when you look at something like, oh crap, well, I can't really tell. Usually you can look up here and see its resource and kind of know. If it's a Boomkin, it's going to be an Alkin form. Okay, sure, obviously. If it's a rogue, it's going to have energy. Well, sometimes you can't really tell between a rogue and a monk. If you were like, crap's really starting to hit the fan, and you run in and all you see is somebody with a health bar and energy, you're like, oh crap, that's in melee range and moving really fast and doing a lot of damage. Like, oh crap, is that a rogue? Is that a monk? Boom, this will fix it. If it's a monk, it's green. If it's a rogue, it's yellow. Done. Done. So, there you go. That's mainly what I use these scripts for. But now here's another one. Here's another one. You guys ever wanted to manually activate your arena raid frames? There you go. I have a script for that. And then I have a script for this. You see where they're normally posted? Right there. Check this out. Any situation you can think of, you can look online and you can find online access for certain situations. I just had an idea and I said, man, this should be really cool. So you look up an add-on, you look for an add-on, you can't really find it. And I'm like, well, I do have the in-game mini-map. So I was like, boom, can I find some way to, make this mini-map bigger? So I started doing some research, started looking around, and sure enough, there was a script. I don't think a lot of players know about it and don't know how to use it, so I went in there and manipulated a little bit, and boom, I got the perfect size. It's the same width as the window chat bar, and it's about maybe a size and a half taller than the chat bar. That's why I put it over here right above the chat bar. It's kind of it's low and it's out of the way, and the raid frames is perfectly positioned to fit right here. So, and my arena frames, if I was doing an arena, you don't want these itty bitty bars over here. You're going to want these bad boys right here, where you can easily mouse over to do mouse over macros or whatever, or you need to switch targets. Boom, 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 boom. You can switch targets really easy. So this is really awesome. Not to mention the fact this makes their cast bars right here. It's much larger. It's much easier to track. You don't need to bog yourself down with a bunch of add-ons when you can just use built-in UIs that Blizzard already gives us access to. The scripts just give me an opportunity to better manipulate them and customize them to what I want. You know what I'm saying? I could even build scripts to make my Blizzard action bar, shrink or grow in size. You know what I'm saying? So there you go, guys. That's all my add-ons. I run scripts as well for the most part. A lot of people see this stuff and like, oh my god, what are your add-ons? I'm like, I don't really run for the UI for the Blizzard art bar going away. I don't use add-ons for that. Those are scripts. But the add-ons that I do use are mostly just for, aside from DBM being incredibly functional and a must-have when it comes to high-end rating. The only thing I really use are just quality of life stuff, TSM, Titan panels, so on and so forth. Everything else is just quality of life, world quest lists, things like that. Literally, DBM is probably the only one that's there to really aid me in foretelling, foreseeing, and being able to safely predict certain events in a raid or in a dungeon. But everybody's been using DBM for so long, everybody already knows that, so there's nothing new there. And but the rest of these are just quality of life. That's all it is. That's all I've ever really wanted. I'm not really that kind of player that likes to bog myself down with them, because the thing is, if you get so dependent on them, you can't play the game without them. You know what I mean? And if you do, you suffer greatly. So anyway, that's it for me, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's pretty brief, pretty short, but also pretty straight to the point. Nothing really else to add to that. If you want to know what these scripts are like, comment below and I will give you a link to where I found them. There's quite a bit of them, so I'm not really going to take the time to put them in the description of the video. If you really want to know, just ask in the comment section, and I will certainly I will send you to the right place. But right now it's knocking on the door at 10 o'clock, and I get it ready for bed so I can go to class tomorrow, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed. So I will see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy. As far as my next video tomorrow, I'm not really sure. I don't do videos on the weekends, and tomorrow's Thursday, so I got a couple of days to come up with a couple more ideas for some videos. I might just go ahead and record a couple of heroics, because I'm going to try and farm some heroics. I just realized today, I was like, it's a good thing I hadn't picked up a legendary, because I haven't recorded any of this footage. So probably starting tomorrow, I'm going to start recording everything I do, like every heroic, every mythic. You know what I'm saying? I've been helping people. I don't like using the word carried, because I don't consider helping a friend carrying them. But I'm already locked out of all the mythics. But I can still reset all instances and go in with a new group and still help them clear it. You know what I'm saying? It's just something to pass the time. Because honestly, there's not really a whole lot else to do. Once you do all the world quests for the day, you're kind of just stuck twiddling your thumbs. Because I'm locked out all the mythics. I can also work on my professions, and I need to go to Suramar and finish my quest there, because I just recently got honored with them, so I need to start that new quest line. So that'll give me something to do between now and reset day. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys like anything else, or if you guys can come up with a subject line or subject that you guys want me to talk about, or even go more in depth about, or if you guys have questions, I can do a Q&A or something like that, just let me know. Anyway, love you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Zera's taking a nap and going to bed, so I will see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.